it was now replaced with water in the tank?
Could be excuse me. Could be diversion. It could be. Sometimes they say when they have problems with the compartments, they have to fill with water so that the products don't get lost. But it was quite curious when it was a whole tanker, so that set a red flag, and we were looking into that.
But you only have this laboratory in Suleja?
We have it in all our depots.
The one that does the spot check as they're driving at every point in time? Every
depot has labs to make sure the quality of products that's coming in. And that's why when we hear somewhere in the east that there's adulterated products, we send our people in there to look at.
The concern with Nigerians is not necessarily the availability of the products as much as it is the fact that some people have these products and are hoarding. And the PPMC, DPR, and indeed the NNPC general have talked about the fact that some people are hoarding and then Nigerians are forced to do panic buying. Is there anybody being prosecuted in any way?
DSS has some people they've caught some people, and we're hoping that the whole process, you have the evidence. We now have security agents who are trained to at least gather evidence, and then we have EFCC working with us as well. They are the ones who would be prosecuting those who have been caught.
I don't know where exactly you take some of these products to, because if you look at what Nigerians are saying, they're still buying petroleum products as high. Someone just bought somewhere in Lagos here around or Job Barracks area for 200 naira a litre. Because if these products you have received are taken to some of this petrol station, Nigerians will want to know if you decided to sell above the stipulated price to them so that they know why they're buying at this price. Is there an increase in petroleum product price?
Certainly not, and that's why I mentioned much earlier that there's an ex-depot price, and so we've heard stories of there being parallel accounts, money's being changed hands, unreceipted funds being exchanged, and that's why we also have the DSS station in the depots right now, so that we can gather the evidence. However, DPR is working assiduously to make sure that the price is right.
You should be worried about how your job should be a lot easier, because if so much have been spent in protection of pipelines, and we still see, I think the right name to call them is oil thieves, not vandals, and we still see oil thieves breaking those pipelines to siphon products. What do you think you should be doing at this point in time to see that that doesn't happen?
We should view the pipelines as national assets, which they are.
They have always been.
They have always been. Take them as national assets because it hasn't been treated as such. PPMC has been the ones having to take care of those pipelines. It should be a national asset that the whole nation is interested in what's happening to it. And so we have taken the cue. I've told you how we're looking at investors who would come in, not only look at the integrity of the pipelines, but also maintain the pipelines and secure the pipelines, so that the issue of vandals coming in and out is a thing of the past. Maybe they'd have to work with the joint force as it is, or maybe we'd have something different.
Can I just take you back a little bit? Let's look at the cost, the landing cost of fuel. How much is it?
Marketers, we have been the ones bringing in the fuel. We bring it to the depot and we've said we bear the cost of the subsidy. We are the supplier of last resort. So we've said 77 naira 66 kobo at the depot.
Why I ask this question is because the message that was sent to us about the fact that when the fuel comes in at the birthing point, it comes in at 39 naira. But because of the charges when they import, not the NNPC now, when they import, because of the charges they have to pay for protection, they pay at the ports and all of that, at the end of the day, the prices, they have to mark up their prices so that they can meet up. Maybe that's why they're selling in some places at 150 naira and in some places at 200 naira. Are there efforts being made to ensure that they don't pay these extra charges when they import at the ports?
There's a PPPRA template that takes care of different components of payments that are made. And all receipted payments are taken care of by the PPRA template. So when you go outside that template, it's an issue that PPRA would be looking into, because they're the ones that fix the price for fuel.
You know what I'm trying to look at? I wanted us to see how this can put us, because if you look at a lot of people, for instance, Mr. Ladikole is also thinking that the NNPC is not strategic in tackling this. You know, we said this is a perennial problem, and this is a new team on board, and you have gone around and seen the problems. Perhaps we want to go around this again before we let you go. What are those things you think is not in place that will surely help if brought on the table?
Being strategic would have been dependent on everybody playing his own part. PPMC, like I had earlier told you, was to just take care of 48%. Right now, we're taking care of 100%. We always also knew that towards Christmas, there's always this, we don't want to call it a scam, but there's always this upheaval. Marketers hoard fuel, and I hear they make the amount that would have been made the whole year at Christmas time. And that was one of the issues we had looked at and said we were going to flood the market this Christmas with fuel. And so the cargoes coming in didn't just happen. It came, we placed those orders since September. They're not just arriving now because there's a fuel problem. No, it was in anticipation of the perennial issue we have at the yellow tide.
You saw it coming?
It happened for how many years? We're all Nigerians. We know what happens. So those are the things we were taking care of. But then the marketers now had this issue, which further compounded the fuel crisis.
You know, for you and I, sitting here is a bit easier because maybe you're in Lagos today, you're in Abuja tomorrow. But for those who live in other parts of the country, they've always bought petroleum products far above the pump price. How are you going to help out?
That's why we have the Calabar area, for instance. We have the Ogara area, we have Port Harcourt, which should feed all the way to Makurdi, Gombe. So we are having alternatives. We have vessels going back to back, supplying those, feeding those depots so that there will be even distribution. What we've had in the past is concentration in Lagos. And then this jam lock in the gridlock in Apapa hasn't helped issues. So there's a diversity, and then long-term, we're looking at strategic reserves. We must have strategic reserves onshore. That's one of the long-term plans that has to be in place. With at least 30 days sufficiency.
How quickly would the pipelines be privatized?
We're looking at early next year. I mean, we can't continue this way. It's something that has to be done properly, but has to be done transparently. Because, I mean, the issues of, if I brought somebody and said, please take care of the pipeline, who's this person? Where did he come from? So it has to be properly bidded for, and it's transparently done so that we all know that we went through due process and the best person gets the job done.
And you say by weekend, this problem will ease off?
We're doing everything to make sure it will.
Mrs. Esther Nnamdi Ogbue, MD, PPMC, many thanks for having you on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you so much for having me, and to appeal to Nigerians not to panic buy. We have enough fuel. You've heard this story before, but this is real. We do have enough fuel. Thank you.